Hello, everybody. My name is Amin Abadrabo, and I had a holiday today. It was Eid Mubarak to all my Muslim brothers out there. It was Eid today, so I decided to do a double feature, which is the Bring Back the Phoenician Scheme double feature. Bring her back and the Phoenician Scheme. Okay, so first let's do the Phoenician Scheme. Sorry for giving you a seizure here. Okay, so the Phoenician Scheme, or as my friend called it, I took for him to see the Phoenician, but it's actually the Phoenician Scheme, is the new Wes Anderson movie. I am a big Wes fan. I love all his movies, well, maybe except Bottle Rocket, but every other one of his movies I love. Especially Grand Budapest Hotel and Fantastic Mr. Fox. This new movie with Benicio del Toro, Mia Tomlinson, and Michael Cera is any. Oh my god! I try to do these best in like one take. Maybe it's the lighting. No, I don't like green. No, I don't like blue. No, I don't like yellow. No, I don't like blue. Or pink? No, that's purple. Sure, let's go for that. Okay, so the movie's about a wealthy businessman, Zaza Korda, who goes on a Sorry, for all my people, you're going to get a seizure here. Wealthy businessman. He brings his daughter, who is now becoming a nun, into his estate to embark on a new enterprise that he's making. Along the way, he meets people that might fool into his whole enterprise, whether it's assassins or schemers or whoever the fuck. Yeah, I mean, as someone like who has been looking at the main discussions on the internet of like Wes's work as of late, with this movie like coming out, like many people have been like discussing again as conversations go by of like, oh, all Wes's work is the same. Like, it's just style over substance. His movies nowadays, they have no soul. And that he just makes the same kind of movie. And I argue against that. I personally feel each and every one of his movies are different in their own rights, whether that's story, whether that's characters, or whether the way how he presents his Wes Anderson style. I mean, each one of his movies, you know it's him. And this movie's no different to my argument that he just tells stories in a different way. He just does character development in a different way. The way he writes is his own way. He has his own way of delivering, emotion and depth to these characters. And I feel as though this movie is, I would say, is pretty mature in his work. It kind of reminded me of The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou in a way, where it's kind of going through this mature subject of like depression, but like in this movie it's about business. And it's a lot of talk of business. So in a way, like, with his style, where I've seen from this recent decade with the French Dispatch and Asteroid City, where he would just out-West his style. Like, he would just go above and beyond with his style. This movie holds back, where it still has his style, but it's not trying to outdo it. It's more kind of containing it in a more mature way so that the story works better. I mean, it's still Wes Anderson we're talking about, it's obviously going to have the symmetrical framing. It's going to have his cinematography. It's going to have his deadpan dialogue. But again, like, even if all his work have a similar style, it's each presented in a different way. And this, I argue, is no different. In terms of performances, Benicio del Toro, he's great. I love that this time he gets to be a main lead in a movie, and I'm glad in a way that, like, Wes gave him the chance to be a main lead. He saw the role for him in French Dispatch, and he was like, hey, like, you're fit for this next story, and I'm glad he let Benicio be the main character of this story. But what really made it stand out for me was Mia Thomason's character, and especially Michael Cera's character. How has Michael Cera not worked with Wes Anderson, like, sooner? Like, I don't know how he has not worked with him, like, ASAP. Like, it seems like a no-brainer for him to, for him to work with Wes, but I guess he just didn't. And he finally did it here, and oh my god, he is amazing. Like, it's very different from the usual Michael Cera role you see him do. And he's just hilarious. But really, other than that performance, the Mia Thompson character who plays the sister in the movie, she also really stands out in this movie in terms of what her character does, like how her character evolves and how her relationship evolves with her father, who is Benicio del Toro, the main character, and how her character and his character like bounce off in development is really fascinating to me. It's, again, like I said, it's told in this very mature way, and I really enjoy it. There's a lot to it I really like, again, like his dialogue, framing, and everything, but mainly it's just how he uses the actors in this movie, to me, I think really stand out. Like, the movie is still goofy, but it balances out between this thing of telling the story while also being funny at the same time, and I think it has that balance work very well. I just love the way how he uses actors, especially how he used Riz Ahmed, how he used Bryan Cranston, Bill Murray, and Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, those really stood out for me. I mean, I would have said something about Scarlett Johansson, but her role was relatively small this time compared to, like, Asteroid City. But again, like, the way how he uses actors is always so fun. Yeah, I mean, like, if I'm going to compare it to his other work, the way the trailer made it seem like it was going to be another Grand Budapest Hotel, like, I thought it was literally going to be another Grand Budapest Hotel. I'm like, okay, I'm pumped. This is going to be amazing. It's not. It's not that, and I feel like the trailer really made it seem like it was going to be, like, that level of, like, zaniness, goofiness. It was going to be that level of good. It's still good, but it's just a lot more held back than compared to those other movies. And I mean, it still uses the 4:3 aspect ratio. But I think what I like about, like, the style being held back from trying to be super Wes Anderson-y is that it allows the story to actually breathe. And to me, like, that's a really great thing. Like, this story is very basic. I mean, there's some depth to it, of course. I mean, I want to rewatch this movie again immediately to just go into depth of it. But I think for having this simple story, And I mean, like, it has a lot of character to the story. Doing the whole, if this movie was like Asteroid City, where it did like the whole meta thing, where it's like story within a story within a story, I feel like it wouldn't work as much and it would over convolute things. So I think I'm glad this time it didn't try to do that. It's not that I hated Asteroid City, I just didn't like the whole like meta-ness of the whole story kind of thing, because it just kind of made it a little confusing, and it kind of makes it hard to kind of, I guess, really look at the characters as characters. And then also I kind of wish there was more that Wes could have done with the sci-fi aspect of this film. So I like that this movie is a little more held back from trying to be this whole meta kind of thing. But I don't know, it just makes me think of all the discourse that people had of Wes Anderson's stuff, and I'll just never understand it. I'm just going to keep liking his work the way I like it. I understand how he does his stuff, and I find each of his movies to have his own kind of emotion, and each one of them I really like from a personal level. I just really enjoy his stuff, and yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I don't really have like a score to really rate it. I could really think of one. Like, I just went to go see it today, but on my letterbox I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely want to rewatch it again to see some hidden details and such, and understand the details of the story more. The next movie I have is Bring Her Back. These are the same directors who did the horror movie Talk to Me. That one was pretty popular back in 2023. That was made by the Raka Raka YouTubers. They're back again with their new flick, Bring Her Back. It's interesting. They were supposed to do a Street Fighter movie, and I guess like they got denied to do it, and so I guess they're like, we'll do another horror then. Yeah, I mean, compared to Talk to Me, it's a lot more brutal than Talk to Me. Sorry, my Discord people keep talking in it, but I could blast through this without interruptions. Yeah, compared to Talk to Me, where the brutalness is kind of held back a bit, like it's still brutal, but like in terms of like showcasing the violence, it's a little held back. Whereas this movie, it really shows the violence to a very brutal sense. Let's hit a red background. Yeah, red background. Okay, so this movie is about two siblings who, after their father died, get transferred to a new nanny, and she's pretty weird. Okay, I just cut off quickly because I was like talking to people on Discord. What I meant to say was, in terms of the synopsis, there's these two siblings after their father died, they get transferred to a new nanny, and this nanny, she's strange, and you learn that she's trying to do some kind of ritual to bring her daughter back. Like I said, with this movie, it is very brutal. Like, in terms of its gore, they don't hold back of showing it to you. It's very visceral. Yeah, I mean, like, when you learn about these characters, you're like, oh boy, I don't like where this is going. You really feel for the main two characters. I really have to say that, like, the Raka Raka brothers, like, know how to write young people. I mean, they're not too far off young themselves, but, like, they write them just right, and they feel authentic, and yeah, I mean, they work for the most part. Um, the main kid who plays like the weird, creepy kid, he's pretty good in it too. The special effects are great, and then yeah, I think it's Mia Hopkins or something Hopkins. Oh, she's great in this movie. Yeah, I mean, like in general, I really like how more brutal it is compared to Talk to Me, where I feel like with Talk to Me, I really like it in terms of like, it's the game they're playing, there's rules to the game, but like there's also a brutal aspect to the game that makes it terrifying. And, it's really cool. It's tightly paced. The thing with this movie is that this movie is way more brutal with that and is more violent, and they more show you the violence. And I think a lot of people are going to really like that. And I think for a lot of people, they're going to really dig this movie. Just like Talk to Me, I think people are going to dig with this one pretty well. My only really main issue, and it's just an issue in general with horror now since like Hereditary, where I just hate this with horror now. It's like ever since Ari Aster did it, every director of horror wants to do it, where it's the theme of grieving, the theme of losing someone, the theme of learning to grieve. And it's like, I kind of hate that they did the same theme of grieving again. But again, they also do it in Talk to Me, but they have another aspect to Talk to Me with addiction. And I like that. And this movie has the same thing where it mixes that with abuse. And so, at least it's not too much about the whole grieving thing. So it still has this other factor of a theme that makes it work. I mean, man, like this film is just brutal to watch, and like you feel bad for everybody. But I will say, I kind of feel like this movie could have been a little bit tighter. Like I feel like there are some scenes where they kind of linger on a little too long, where it's like we kind of get what you're doing. Like let's move on. Like it feels like the movie just could have been trimmed just a tiny bit. It didn't need to be trimmed too much, but like there's some scenes where I'm like, okay, we get what you're doing. Wrap it up. And it's just, I really like what they did here. Compared to Talk to Me, I love that it's more brutal. I think I give it like a 3.5 stars out of 5. Yeah, so that's all I have today. Bye.